New Jersey Senator Cory Booker is endorsing former Vice President Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential race. The former presidential candidate made the announcement earlier today. This comes after Senator Kamala Harris also endorsed Biden over the weekend.
The endorsements are seen as a major boost for Biden ahead of tomorrow's 6 Democratic primaries across the country. So Senator Cory Booker is joining us now from Detroit. Thank you so much for joining us, Senator. And I guess, my first question has to be, why are you endorsing former Vice President Biden?
Well, this is the most important election of my lifetime, and the fear of Donald Trump having another 4 years and the consequences, not just for our country, but for humanity, are great. It forces us all to do what we believe is right. And I'm not going to be driven by fear, but by faith. And I have a lot of faith in Joe Biden, that he is the leader that can not only beat Donald Trump and bring the necessary coalitions together to do it, but can govern in a way to bring honor back to that office.
Senator, throughout your career, you've been known for fighting for criminal justice reform. However, in the past, you slammed the former vice president over his record on race issues, his stance on marijuana legalization. I get that during a presidential contest, you will sharpen the attacks against your opponent because you may believe you're the best person to be the president. But Senator Sanders is going to continue to hit the former vice president on these issues. So, I guess, what's behind your shift to supporting him now, and how does he counteract the same criticism that you had, which is what Senator Sanders is going to have going forward?
Well, look, both of these men supported the 1994 crime bill and have votes in their past that I'm sure they would do differently now. The reality is I believe Joe Biden can bring together the coalitions necessary to actually get more done. And I'll tell you this, you see that by African-American voters, the community that's been disproportionately affected by the war on drugs, which has been a war on people by an overtly biased criminal justice system. And so I've had conversations with the vice president. I have felt really his commitment to these issues, and he has affirmed them to me. I'm excited about being a United States Senator to work with him as president to bring an end to mass incarceration. And again, I know how to get things done in the Senate. We passed a major criminal justice reform bill, and we need a president that can actually build those kind of coalitions, left and right. And gosh, Joe Biden has a record of doing that. So these are the reasons why I believe he'll be a great president, because of his ability to work across the aisle to bring factions together. But he's also the right person, dear God, to beat Donald Trump because of that same ability to bring our party together and to bring even moderate Republicans into the fold. We have to have someone that can unite, and he's the best person to do that right now.
After Super Tuesday, I think it became more, Super Tuesday perhaps reinforced the idea that there are almost two sort of wings of the Democratic Party, right? And though, Biden did quite well, Bernie Sanders still enjoys a lot of support and a very passionate base. Where do you believe the soul of the Democratic Party resides? Is it more progressive or more centrist?
Well, again, I don't know if it even, I don't even surrender to that false divide. Look, I live in inner city Newark, New Jersey. I live in a community that's around the poverty line, and folks there, they don't think about terms in establishment, progressive, moderate. No, they want their minimum wage raised. They want affordable prescription drugs. They want a criminal justice system that's reformed. I know that the media and others like to talk about things in that way, but people just want their lives to be better. They want a fair shot. They want to work hard and see the benefits of that. And so I'm tired of the things that are being said and done to divide the Democratic Party. We have common cause and common purpose. I'm supporting Joe Biden because I believe he can begin to rally us around the urgencies that we have together, that need we have right now more than ever as a party to come together and beat Donald Trump.
Let me ask you something. When Kamala Harris dropped out of the race, you sort of said, now there are more billionaires in this race than there are black people. We have a billionaire backing Joe Biden as well, Bloomberg. And I'm wondering if also the Democratic Party is at risk, with all of his money, at risk of allowing a billionaire to perhaps shape the race moving forward, because he can really tip the balance.
Well, look, we saw on Super Tuesday the commanding victories of Joe Biden, and he was running against Mayor Bloomberg. This race is not going to be decided by him. You're going to see this race decided by who Joe Biden is, and all of our desire to begin to rally around, come together around the candidate that can best beat Donald Trump. I have a lot of faith in his stability and his strength in this time. Look, we're going to do a postmortem, trust me. When this whole presidential election's over, I'm going to be one of the leaders in that conversation about how to make sure that we get money the heck out of politics. It's the reason why in my presidential race, I said I wasn't going to take corporate PAC dollars and a lot more of the money that I think is wrong. But right now, as we are going forward, we have the chance to unite around the person who has the best chance of beating Donald Trump and who actually, in my conversations, agrees with me about getting this money out of politics and puts us in a position where we could get a bill where you need 60 votes in the Senate to do it, to get a bill to start doing some of the things to limit the impact of corporations and concentrated money, because that is indeed one of the things I think is corrupting our politics. It has to be ended.
Senator, two older white men are now leading the race for the Democratic nomination. Have you discussed with the former vice president the possibility of perhaps being his running mate or some kind of larger role should he win the nomination and ultimately the presidency?
No, not at all. Look, I'm blessed to be the United States Senator for New Jersey, running for re-election right now. I've got an incredible position. My interest and my conversations with him right now have been really twofold. One, focusing on beating Donald Trump and wrapping up this primary, and two, obviously talking to him about a lot of the policy issues that most animate and drive my work around criminal justice reform, racial justice, economic justice in our country, and expanded economic opportunity, education. So I've been really pleased with the conversations he and I have had about those policy issues, but even more so, pleased that he is continuing to demonstrate the kind of strength necessary to pull us together so that we have strength going into November to beat Donald Trump.
But if he asked you to be his running mate, to be on the ticket with him, would you accept?
Look, I was asked by somebody in the hallway in the Senate, would you be a VP? And I said, I'm already a vegan person. I don't.
That's good.
That's a good way to make me actually literally laugh out loud, Senator, without answering the question. But I got to ask, come on, would you not want to be vice president, especially? And I ask this only because the ticket, or at least the two men running, are these older white men. We started out the primary season with one of the most diverse fields in history, in presidential politics history, and now it's sharpened into what we've always had, save for Barack Obama. So I just wonder, if you would like to play a role in this presidency, should it ever happen.
Let me just give a warning to all the Democratic nominees for president from now into the future. Diversity matters to our party, and I'm not sure if you're going to see tickets lacking diversity anymore. I think the vice president is going to make the choice he needs to make to best beat Donald Trump and the person that can best help him govern. Whoever he chooses, I'll be behind 100%.
All right.
So, Senator, before you go, I want to ask you about the coronavirus. There are more cases in your home state of New Jersey. I want to get your take on how government is handling this new threat. What's happening at the state level? What's happening in the White House? What's your take on how we're managing this?
So on the state level, I tell you, Phil Murphy is taking this with all the seriousness that it needs to be taken, and taking measures already. Mayors of our cities, I'm really proud of New Jersey, and to see the way that they're pulling together. And as a senator, I'm doing everything I can, most recently just getting more resources to our state through the measure we passed through the Senate last week. I've been frustrated by this administration's response. This is not a time to play politics. This is not a time to be blaming Democrats or whomever for it. This is a time for all of us to be coming together, focusing on science, on the professionals, and getting the resources to the people to do what they need to be done. The challenges we've had with just getting testing kits into states is illustrative of the real problems this administration has been showing. But look, I'm now supporting everybody who's doing the right thing, and we continue to have regular meetings with the president's team, We all have to pull together right now. This is a real serious health challenge. And this is a time not to let fear guide us, but let facts guide us, and to begin to work together to make sure that we deal with this threat that's looming and mounting in our country.
Senator, have you spoken to the Vice President directly? Because we've seen over the past couple of days divergent views coming from the President. In some cases, the President's words have been factually incorrect, erroneous, and others, including those in the medical community. And I wonder if the Vice President, what he tells you about America's preparedness. He last week said that 1.5 million testing kits would be available. What are you hearing about the ability of the United States to test going forward?
So first of all, what the President of the United States is doing is just unacceptable. I don't care what you view of him politically, but for him look, I learned this as a mayor when I was chief executive of a city through various crises. Disciplined, focused information is what you need from an executive and their entire team. To be lying to people, to be misleading people, to be playing it like a political football, it's absolutely unacceptable and puts people's lives at risk. Now, the Vice President and his team have been coming before the Senate, talking to us in factual ways, again, without fanfare, often in closed sessions, and I am gratefully appreciative of that. They've been responsive. A lot of the health career professionals around them have made themselves available. And again, this is a time for us all. Focus, discipline, trusting scientists and medical professionals, and getting the resources that local communities need to confront this virus. That is what is important.
All right, Senator Cory Booker, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you all. Thank you both.
Thanks, Senator.